quick ad. With Time Twist, you get exciting, bizarre, and significant historical events delivered to your phone every single day. Enjoying this episode? There's so much more in the app. You'll find the link in the show notes. Let's get started.
Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
This time, we're looking at a really intriguing collection of material.
Yeah, these are excerpts from a podcast episode called June 3rd Through Time and Space.
Exactly. And our mission, it's pretty straightforward. Take this single date on the calendar, June 3rd, and just see what unexpected connections, what truly valuable insights we can pull out.
Right, not just a list of facts.
No, forget endless lists. We're really hunting for those aha moments, the things that might shift how you see history, how you see the human story.
Without getting bogged down in absolutely everything.
Yes. Avoiding that information overload.
It really strikes me, looking at this, how just one day can shine a light on such an incredible range of human activity over the centuries.
It's quite something.
Yeah, it's not some neat single story, is it? Like just progress or just decline. It's this vibrant, sometimes messy collection of experiences.
Okay, so the original material, it kicks off with a segment they called Hope and Power. Starting with June 3rd, 2008, Barack Obama securing the Democratic presidential nomination.
From a huge moment.
You felt the weight of that one, didn't you? I mean, thinking about race and politics in the U.S., it felt seismic.
Oh, absolutely. Seismic is the right word.
So what do you think its lasting echoes are, looking back now?
Well, that's the crucial question, isn't it? It wasn't just a barrier being broken. You could argue it signaled a real shift in what the nation could even imagine for its leadership.
Right.
How did that moment maybe open up new conversations or challenge assumptions people had held for so long about who holds power?
Exactly. It makes you wonder about those ripple effects. Then you fast forward just 2 years, same date, June 3rd, 2010, and we see a different kind of power being asserted up in Canada.
Ah, yes, the Queen Charlotte Islands, renamed Haida Gwaii.
For anyone who might not know, this was really about reclaiming Indigenous identity.
Right.
What's the significance there when a community chooses to rename a place?
Oh, it's a really powerful act. It's self-definition. It's basically saying, look, this is our history, our language, our identity, and we're not letting that be erased or overwritten.
Right. It's not a battle fought with weapons.
No, not at all. But it's a cultural assertion, and that can have a profound, lasting impact. It really makes you think about how names themselves carry so much history, so much meaning.
That's a great point. So from reclaiming land through language, the next segment jumps us literally to the stars.
To the stars and back.
June 3rd, 1965, Edward Higgins White takes that first American spacewalk, Gemini 4.
And his quote.
I feel like $1 million.
Perfect, right. It just captures that feeling of unbelievable achievement.
It really does.
What does that moment tell us about, human ambition?
It's just pure, unadulterated aspiration, isn't it? That drive.
Yeah.
That drive to go beyond what we know, even into the most extreme, hostile environments. It connects to something very, very fundamental in us.
That curiosity. That curiosity, exactly. That need to explore, to push our limits. It's fascinating to think about what motivates that kind of risk, that kind of endeavor.
Absolutely. And then, if we rewind way, way back, June 3rd, 1769, Captain James Cook, he's observing the transit of Venus in Tahiti.
Seems like a world away from a spacewalk.
Totally. But the scientific goal calculating the size of the solar system, that was huge for its time.
Absolutely massive.
So what ties these seemingly disparate events together, a spacewalk and watching Venus cross the sun?
Well, that's a great question. I think both events, though they're separated by centuries and, the scale is vastly different,
Right.
they're both driven by that fundamental human desire to understand our universe.
Okay.
Whether it's through direct physical exploration, like the spacewalk, or through meticulous scientific observation, like Cook.
Yeah.
It's about unraveling the mysteries, isn't it?
Yeah.
Our existence, our place in the cosmos.
That deep-seated need to know.
Exactly.
All right, the next segment takes a much more serious turn. Battles and broken promises.
June 3rd, 1989. This date saw the Tiananmen Square protests and then the government's brutal crackdown in China.
A deeply somber anniversary.
And that image, that iconic image of the lone man facing the tanks, it still resonates so powerfully, even now. What makes that image so enduring?
It's just It's the ultimate David and Goliath narrative, isn't it? Distilled into one single unforgettable frame.
Yeah.
It represents the courage of the individual standing up against overwhelming state power, that yearning for freedom, for democracy, facing down authoritarianism.
And it's still a potent reminder.
It absolutely is. A reminder of the human cost when those aspirations are suppressed.
And incredibly, on that very same day, June 3rd, 1989, Ayatollah Khomeini passed away in Iran.
Wow. Same date.
Yeah, the architect of the 1979 revolution. His death undeniably reshaped the Middle East. How do we even begin to assess the impact of a figure like that on history?
It's incredibly complex. It really forces us to grapple with the whole idea of transformative leadership, both its, positive and negative sides.
Khomeini's influence was just profound and so long-lasting. It altered the political landscape of an entire region.
It really highlights how one person's vision, their actions,
Can have such far-reaching consequences, for better or for worse.
and going even further back, still on June 3rd, but 1839 this time, we see Lin Zexu's destruction of British opium in China.
A very deliberate act.
A powerful stand against addiction, against exploitation. But it tragically led to the First Opium War.
Right.
What does this tell us about the complexities of trying to, enact change on a global scale, especially back then?
It really reveals those intricate, often unintended consequences, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Even when actions are morally driven, like Lin Zexu's clearly were.
Yeah.
When those actions intersect with powerful economic interests, geopolitical forces, well, the repercussions can be huge. It shows how interconnected the world already was and how resistance can provoke really forceful reactions.
Okay, our next segment, Land, Legacy, and Letting Go, brings us to June 3rd, 1992. And Australia's legal recognition of Aboriginal land rights, overturning terra nullius.
A landmark decision. Mabo.
It feels like such a significant step, even if, incredibly belated, towards acknowledging historical injustice. What's the human impact of a legal shift like that?
Oh, it's immense. It's about recognizing fundamental human dignity, isn't it? And that deep, deep connection between people and their land, their country.
Right.
Overturning terra nullius, the idea that the land was empty,
Right.
was about finally acknowledging a history that had just been flat out denied.
And starting that process.
Starting that long, ongoing process of reconciliation. It has profound implications for identity, for culture, and certainly for the continuing pursuit of justice for indigenous communities.
Then, shifting gears a bit, June 3rd, 1959, Singapore achieves self-governance within the British colony.
The beginning of a remarkable transformation.
It really is astonishing, isn't it, to think of its trajectory from that point to becoming this major global financial center. What were the key ingredients there, do you think?
Well, the Singapore story really underscores the power of visionary leadership, definitely. Strategic planning. And a relentless focus on economic development and, crucially, adaptation. It's a really compelling example of how a relatively small nation can achieve quite remarkable success on the world stage.
And finally, in this segment, June 3rd, 2006, Montenegro peacefully votes for independence.
A reminder that it can happen peacefully.
Exactly. In contrast to some of the more conflict-driven nation-building we've touched on, Montenegro's independence really highlights the power of peaceful self-determination.
And the importance of democratic processes in shaping that national identity.
Okay, segment 5 takes us into disasters and discoveries. June 3rd, 1979. This marks the beginning of the Ixtoc oil well explosion in the Gulf of Mexico.
A huge environmental catastrophe, one of the largest ever at the time.
It's massive. What are the long-term lessons we take from an event like that, or should take?
Well, it serves as a stark, enduring reminder, doesn't it, of the environmental risks that are just inherent in our reliance on fossil fuels, and the potential for absolutely devastating consequences when things go wrong. It really underscores the need for robust safety measures, responsible environmental practices.
And maybe a greater awareness of our impact.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Our impact on the planet's often delicate ecosystems.
Then, fast forward to June 3rd, 1991, the Mount Unzen eruption in Japan.
Ah, yes. Tragically claiming the lives of scientists and journalists.
Including the famous volcanologists, the Crafts. It really highlights the raw power of nature, but also the inherent risks people take trying to understand it.
It certainly speaks to the dedication, the courage of those who seek knowledge, even right in the face of danger.
Yeah.
It's a sobering reminder of the immense power of natural forces, and sadly, the sacrifices sometimes made in that pursuit of scientific understanding.
And another incident, June 3rd, 1969, an accidental collision between an Australian aircraft carrier, HMAS Melbourne, and an American destroyer, the USS Frankie Evans.
A terrible tragedy. Loss of life, even between allies during exercises.
It really underscores that element of human error, doesn't it? And the potential for just unforeseen tragedy, even in highly organized, highly disciplined environments like the military.
It really does. It highlights that constant need for vigilance, for effective communication. Regardless of alliances or experience levels, mistakes can happen.
Okay, our sixth segment is tracks and trains. We've got June 3rd, 1889, Canada's Pacific Railway is completed.
A pivotal moment in Canadian history.
Absolutely. Uniting the country coast to coast. What kind of impact does a massive infrastructure project like that have on a nation's development?
Oh, it's utterly transformative. It's not just about the physical connection, laying tracks.
Right.
It's about fostering trade, enabling migration on a huge scale, and really forging a shared national identity. That railway, it physically and symbolically linked these disparate parts of Canada, crucial for its growth, its cohesion.
And on the very same day, June 3rd, 1889.
Another significant event.
Yeah. The first electric power line lights up in Oregon. The original material called it the spark of modern life.
That's a good way to put it.
It's hard to overstate the significance of that moment, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, that single spark, you could say it ignited a technological revolution that just fundamentally reshaped human civilization.
Everything changed.
Everything. It's the dawn of our modern electrified world, impacting how we live, how we work, how we communicate, entertain ourselves. Everything.
And finally, in this segment, something more recent and tragic. A train crash in Chinchilla, Spain on June 3rd, 2003.
Yes. A terrible head-on collision, significant loss of life.
And sadly, events like these often lead to improvements in safety regulations, don't they?
It's a somber but important point. Progress in safety often does come at a cost. It's frequently driven by the lessons learned from tragedy. It highlights our capacity, maybe our necessity, to learn from mistakes, however painful they are, and to implement changes aimed at preventing future loss.
Okay, our final segment celebrates lives that shape the world, people born on June 3rd.
Some fascinating figures here.
First up, Rafael Nadal, born in 1986. The undisputed king of clay, a true sporting legend. What makes an athlete like Nadal so impactful, maybe beyond just their sport?
Well, often it's their dedication, isn't it? Their resilience, the example they set through sheer discipline and often sportsmanship.
Yeah.
Nadal's achievements, they inspire people. They demonstrate the power of perseverance in reaching the absolute highest levels of human endeavor.
Then there's Josephine Baker, born way back in 1906.
An extraordinary figure.
So much more than just a dancer, right? She was a spy for the French resistance, a passionate civil rights activist in the U.S., an incredible life.
Baker's life just transcends easy categorization. She used her fame, her influence, to fight for justice, for freedom.
Incredible bravery.
Absolutely. And a commitment to making the world better. Her rainbow tribe of adopted children. Her story is just a powerful reminder of the impact one individual can have across so many different fields.
Curtis Mayfield, born in 1942.
The soul singer with such a powerful message.
Yeah, tracks like People Get Ready, they still resonate so deeply. How does music like his play a role in shaping society, do you think?
Music has that unique ability, doesn't it? To connect directly with emotions and to articulate collective experiences, collective hopes, collective struggles. Mayfield's songs, they gave voice to a generation, particularly during the Civil Rights Movement. They served as social commentary, but also as a source of hope, of inspiration for change.
Then we have Werner Arber, born in 1929, maybe less famous name to many.
Perhaps, but pivotal. A key figure in the quiet revolution of genetics and DNA science. Restriction enzymes.
His work might not be as widely known outside scientific circles, but its impact is just immense.
Absolutely transformative. Arber's contributions to our understanding of the fundamental building blocks of life, they laid the groundwork for so much of modern biotechnology. It really underscores how fundamental scientific discoveries can have profound, far-reaching consequences for all of humanity.
And finally, Jill Biden, born in 1951, the current First Lady, of course, but also a dedicated lifelong teacher, an advocate, and significantly, the only First Lady, I believe, to hold a full-time job while in that role.
That's right. Continuing her teaching career.
What does that tell us about sort of evolving roles and expectations?
I think Jill Biden's career reflects a changing landscape, particularly for women in public life. It's a demonstration that individuals can pursue multiple roles, multiple passions simultaneously.
Even in that intense spotlight.
Exactly. Even within the demanding context of being First Lady, it challenges older models.
It really is quite something, stepping back and realizing the sheer range of human experience packed into this single date.
Isn't it just?
The triumphs, the tragedies, the breakthroughs, all occurring on June 3rd, just scattered across the vast sweep of history and the globe.
Absolutely. When you look at it all together, this one date, it kind of encapsulates so many fundamental aspects of the human journey.
Like what?
Well, our relentless pursuit of progress, our struggles for justice and freedom, the drive to explore the unknown we talked about, and of course, the enduring impact of individual lives, both famous and perhaps less famous, on the course of history.
So for you listening, maybe think about this. These seemingly ordinary dates on the calendar, they're actually incredibly rich layers of human stories.
Interconnected in ways we often don't even consider.
Right. And exploring even a single day like this, June 3rd, it can really deepen your understanding of how the past shapes the present, maybe in unexpected ways.
It's a fascinating exercise.
It really is. Maybe take a moment sometime to reflect on the significant dates in your own life. Those personal milestones, they're also part of this huge ongoing human narrative.
A nice thought to end on.
Thanks for diving deep with us.